Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. This week we're going to talk about databases in our class. But in order to talk about databases, we're going to use MySQL for an example here. So what we're going to do is I have a provider I use for web hosting. It's more or less like a third-party tool that I use. Nonetheless, this is the URL that you're going to enter in for this class. So it'll be posted in Blackboard, but I just wanted to make a video to kind of take you through as a walkthrough. So we'll do it in class, but it'll be important that you kind of have an idea how to do this. So first thing you'll do is you'll put the user account in here, ccac students at ccac.rocks. Now the password I will provide to your Blackboard. I will not talk about it on this video. So I'm just going to paste the password in here, and you're going to click login. So everybody in my class, the CIT NC71 class, will have, or NCA1, whatever class is, you guys will all have the same username and password. Now, this is established for if we're doing a website. So there's a lot of stuff on here that we're not going to touch bases. This is my personal account that I established for you guys to use so that we can have a MySQL account. Now the thing is, we can install MySQL on everyone's computer and do it that way, which is one alternate way. But the thing is, for example, like if you bring your personal laptop, Mac actually, I think it has MySQL already installed on it. But and then installing on a PC is fairly easy as well. But for the school computer, then it gets a little bit tricky because we don't have right access to do that. So I thought that if we use a more or less like a web environment, that way you can access this anytime. So if you want to include this in your project, then you could attach it to your project, whatever the case is. You could do it anywhere. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to websites and domains. We're going to go to databases. Now, you could go in here and click Add New Database, and you have the option to choose SQL Server or MySQL. We're going to use MySQL in this class, but let's say that you wanted to do SQL Server. For those of you who are familiar with SQL Server, you have a URL, so I can talk to you about that. But in this class, we're going to do MySQL. It'll be fairly easy what we're trying to accomplish. SQL Server could be a little bit more complex with the new features that it offers. So I'm going to hit cancel right now. I already have a database out there that I've created called every database is going to say J. Seaman because that's my name and because this is my account underscore CC. It doesn't have to say CC Rocks. It could be anything. But part of this week's assignment that you're going to be doing is you're going to create a database. You're going to create some tables, and you're going to learn how to. You're going to connect it to your environment through something called JDBC that we'll learn in the class. So let me show you how to set up a new database. So what I want everyone to do, I want you to use your name. I think it'd be important. So for example, let's do Add New Database. I want you to choose MySQL. And for the name, obviously, J. Siemens there, you can't overwrite that and put something else. I don't think you can, but let's try it. I don't think it'll work. Let's say I wanted to call my database. You might actually be able to do it this way. Let's try. Let's see here. Let's say, just thinking out loud, what is one of the groups that we have? Let me actually look. All right, so I'm looking at, I don't know about this class specifically, unless I actually, let me go out the courses. Let's see who has what class. I had some from my other class I could utilize. Let's see this class right here. Let me see the course docs. Groups. Okay, I thought I had the names of them. Anyways, we'll just come up with something because I'm going to purchase anyways. I'll call it I'll call it the Steelers. You know what? We don't want to name the database the Steelers. Let's call it inventory. And we hit OK. Boom. It was created. It's called inventory. So let's see here. Go to Hold on one second here. Alright, so you don't have to use JCM underscore, so that was my bad. So you can use inventory. So as you've seen how to create it, now let's see, make default. Alright, so now that we have this, the next thing that we want to do, and it talks in the book how to create a username. It's going to be a little bit different since we're using a web interface. So what we need to do is we have the database called inventory. We need to create a web admin. We'll talk about that later. But we need to create a user, database user. So I'll click on add a user, and this does everything for us. So we'll just say, we'll pretend that my name is, I'll say that my name is Brian Leonard. So I'm going to say Brian Leonard. And I'm going to make my password CCAC rocks. CAC rocks. And then hit OK. Alright, so now it added database user to the database. I'm going to go back here. Databases again. Click inventory. And this needs to be lit up. So normally this will be grayed out. But I think what's wrong is I need to change the permissions from an admin standpoint, so just give me a second to change that. Alright, so we're back. I had to go and change the permissions of the user. I had set the CCA students up as the wrong user account. So now I gave you admin access. So now you'll see the web admin is lit up. So you can click on the web admin. And this will be a whole other video that we'll talk about how to create tables. Now, there's an easier way to create the tables, but I want to teach you how to do it the SQL way, which is the manual way of doing it. And then I'll show you the easier way of doing it. But it's important that you know both ways. So this is video number 1. It's just an overview of how to create your environment to get it established. But let me go back for a second here and exit out of the inventory. So let's go back here. So when you are actually let me go back to websites and domains. So when you are actually creating a database, so when you do create a database, I want you to use, I'll use JCM, but I want you to use your name. So for example, you know, I use Brian Leonard, but let's say that, you know, my name was Dave Snyder, for example. I want you to, so that we know who's whose. So we can say Dave Snyder, and then maybe the name of his database is Bear Inventory. So that way I know from an individual standpoint, I know who is who right off the bat. It'll make it for this purpose, it'll make it most sense. But when you're actually building an application, you know, you're going to use the name of a database. So your database is services. So it would be services versus, you know, your name. But in this class, we want to allocate who's who and so forth. So if you have any questions, you can shoot me a message. Thanks for listening.